Foreign domestic helpers represent about 8% of the workforce in Hong Kong. However, many of them suffered from debt bondage. They were being charged excessive illegal placement fee, which is a service fee collected by employment agencies for helping the foreign domestic helpers to find a job. And these fees ranged from $5,000 to $21,000. An Indonesian domestic helper revealed that all of her salary had to be deducted as a payment of her debts to moneylender for 7 months. So, what exactly is happening? Let's take a look.
Hey Maria, have you arrived at Hong Kong yet?
Yes, Mom.
Remember, give us some money. We need money for medicine, food, and diapers for your kid.
I know, Mom.
Yes, just send us money. We really need money. Hong Kong is rich. You should get us more money.
Yes, Mom.
Oh, I'm Peter. How may I help you?
I'm a domestic helper. I want to find a job.
Oh, if you want to find a job, sign this contract is okay噶啦.
Can I read the contract?
Hey, no need to see lah. Trust me. Just sign, just sign.
Okay, sir.
Oh, by the way, do you have money for the placement fee?
Placement fee? No.
Oh, never mind. I can introduce you my friend. He can lend you money.
喂，我 Peter 仔啊，有一條水魚上釣啦，今期我哋又有錢賺啦，我陣間帶佢過嚟見你啦。
Oh, this is my friend John.
What can I do you for?
I want to.
She wants a personal loan.
Good. Just sign this loan agreement.
But how much?
Okay, just sign it.
Maria, you go outside and wait for me lah. I have to talk to John.
In the short simulation, we've seen stuff that seem to be out of place. Let's first briefly talk about the illegality of the excessive placement fees and that of the related activities. The law forbids employment agencies from collecting placement fees for foreign domestic helpers that exceed $411. However, it has been frequently reported that agencies, in collusion with moneylenders, collected excessive placement fees that normally are as high as $10,000. Unfortunately, surrounding the excessive placement fees are plentiful of illegal activities. In order to collect illegal placement fees, agencies often lied to foreign domestic helpers and misled them to believe that it's legal to collect such fees. Such action could possibly constitute fraud. In addition, loan agreements signed between domestic helpers and moneylenders often did not contain the loan amount. Also, it has been reported that moneylenders often never gave a copy of loan agreements to the foreign domestic helpers, even upon their demand. It seems that these moneylenders were trying to hide something illicit. According to the law, this is illegal and would render these loan agreements void. However, despite these agreements being void, some moneylenders would still make use of intimidatory means to force domestic helpers to repay their loan, such as giving them phone calls incessantly. such acts are undoubtedly illegal.
There are several factors contribute to the illegal fees. First, a large portion of domestic helpers are ignorant, as most of them only have a high school education level. They probably lack the ability to think critically and independently, and might not be familiar with how the contract works. They may not know what rights they possess, and they cannot understand the contract due to language barrier. Also, most of them are desperate for money and they need the money as soon as possible. They will try to satisfy employee agencies' demands in order to get a job. Hence, they will easily make wrong decisions or judgment under these influences. The 2 weeks rule would further forces the domestic helpers to follow agencies' unreasonable commands. The second factor is the unethical practices by the moneylender and agencies. Some agencies will impose unreasonable or illegal amount of placement fee on domestic helpers. If the domestic helper cannot detect the problem and agrees to pay the fee, the agent will introduce a moneylender. Besides, the agent will also confiscate domestic helpers' personal documents and bank access rights. This would ensure they can obtain the illegal profits. In addition, when the agent or moneylender signs a contract with domestic helper, they will try not to provide a copy of document or receipt in order to not create any evidence of their illegal actions. Third, the government was not able to monitor this industry well. There are many cases in which employee agencies conducted illegal activities, but the government did not take any action. Also, the regulation of setting up employee agency companies is not effective. Some employee agencies can operate without sufficient licenses. These agencies do have higher chance to charge domestic helper illegal fees.
After looking at the causes of the illegal fees, we have 5 corresponding recommendations. The first one is education and promotion, as we know that some domestic helpers are ignorant. The government should cooperate with non-governmental organizations that are focusing on the rights of domestic helpers, such as Helpers for Domestic Helpers. These groups have a huge network of domestic helpers, but don't have enough financial support. So, the government should financially subsidize them for giving out leaflets and provide venues for organizing talks. Through these educational means, domestic helpers should understand their rights more clearly and should also know how to avoid being manipulated by others. Second, the government should establish a standard money lending contract which covers the major entitlements and protection under the Money Lenders Ordinance. This will ensure that the contracts to be signed would include all the legally required information. In addition, in order to ensure domestic helpers understand the law and agreements, the contracts should be provided in 4 different languages: English, Chinese, Bahasa Indonesia, and Tagalog. In order to apply for or renew their licenses, moneylenders will have to comply with the new arrangements, which is to exclusively use the standard contracts for money lending purposes.
The third suggestion is targeting the 2-week rule, which has been stated before as one of the causes of the desperate domestic helpers. We suggest the government to lengthen the 2-week rule to 8 weeks, so that domestic helpers have more time to sue the illegal employment agencies and the moneylenders. It also gives more time for domestic helpers to find their new employers, therefore reduce their needs to borrow money from the moneylenders. Fourth, we can have a marking scheme on employment agencies, which is similar to existing driving offense points system. When employment agencies commit certain corporate offenses, in addition to the penalties, they will incur offense points. The system should be laid down in the employment agency regulation, which means all the agencies must participate in this scheme. Any scheduled offense committed will deduct the marks of an agency. When the total mark of an agency comes to 0, the license will be revoked, and the operator of the agency cannot obtain a new license anymore. This system aims to increase the penalties against malpractice of employment agencies and achieve a deterrent effect. The last solution we suggest here is the government enacts law requiring both employment agencies and moneylenders to record the contract-related process. The video recorded can help to deter illegal practices, like not allowing domestic helpers to read the contract details and the false statement, etc. These records will be used as an evidence if domestic helpers sue the moneylenders or the employment agencies. Moreover, the cash transfer process during the money lending process is needed to be recorded as well. This can ensure the domestic helpers receive the cash instead of moneylender give the money to the employment agency as the illegal placement fees.